Today's daily news is more of a reflection, and it will speak of a lesson that I have learned. And I'd love to hear some of your views on it, because you see, we're only as good as the way we handle the knowledge that we have gleaned. And so I have been in reflection, and these are some of my thoughts. So I listened all night last night to Jamaica's Prime Minister as he spoke on the nightly update. As a nation, we have a 5 o'clock update. It offers a comprehensive review of the country's handling of the COVID-19 situation. I was gripped as he spoke of the group of Jamaicans who came home between March 18th to March 24th, 2020. And these were the persons who would have had travel plans or were adjusting travel plans to get home before our airports closed. And my mind instantly went back to the video I made in response to a letter that was written to the editor of The Gleaner requesting help to get Jamaican crew home. Now, the Honorable Prime Minister continued to speak, making mention of over 4,500 persons who were mandated to report to the Ministry of Health, having come back to the island during that time frame, March 18th to 24th. But they didn't. And I was struck as the Minister of Health and Wellness gave clarity on the possibility that the sudden spike in positive tests for the virus coincided with the window of arrivals that same period. So in other words, during March 14th to 24th, when persons came into the island and the group that reported, the government was able to ascertain their health status and whatever needed to be done, if anything could be done. They were comfortable, meaning the Ministry of Wellness, Health and Wellness would be comfortable with the status of these persons, but they were very, very uncomfortable with the unknown, and unknown can be detrimental to us. And so there are these 4,500 people out there in the island who have not presented themselves, and so they present a blank figure, and in situations like this, blank figures can be potentially dangerous. Now, the Minister of Health and Wellness painted a picture of persons who have not made contact, they have not had their health status verified, moving around the island, without they themselves knowing what state of wellness they currently possess. And as I listened to everything on that presentation, I listened to it as I laid in bed. I realized that thought, or the thoughts that were brought up in the entire presentation, were the thoughts that took me gently to sleep. And I woke up thinking about the burden of leadership. I saw in that moment, I saw forcefully that when you lead, when one leads, the balance must be struck to maintain the greater good of the entire country in this particular case. What I'm saying simply is, as a government, Prime Minister Holness taught me a big lesson. He showed me that even though I was filled with compassion for those persons who need to come home, he, the one bearing the burden of keeping an entire country safe and well, has to daily make decisions for the greater good of the people. that he has been called to serve. You know, the discussion goes back and forth regarding closing the border. And it's important to recognize that this is in an attempt to keep those who are within the borders safe. We are the priority of those in governance. Maintaining control of this situation, as we have seen, is the only way to conquer it. And of course, the flip side is also true as it relates to our countrymen and women on the Royal Caribbean ships that I spoke about in my particular video requesting help to bring our people home. And this also came to me very forcefully that they are a part of a great company. And you all know that at Sheri Fantastic Travels and Resorts Limited, we are a cruise-based company, Jamaica's only company authorized to sell all these cruise lines sailing all across the world. And the persons that we spoke of, my friends, my associates, my colleagues, the unknown to me, but Jamaicans nevertheless, they are a part of a great company. And we come back to the issue of leadership, a great company whose leadership is keen on maintaining their well-being and their safety. And my reflection led me to a place of pride because there is another YouTuber whose journey I followed. He was on the Oasis of the Seas and we followed his vlog all the way until he signed off and he was at the airport and heading home to Manchester, England. And he expressed a certain amount of concern, I think, because his country has had high cases of this virus and the situation has been very serious. And of course, I look on the leadership of the company, Royal Caribbean, and all the cruise companies, but we focus on this for the purpose of my reflection. And Royal Caribbean will not sign off their crew of these ships until they know that they are safe and they are returning without hindrance and without unknown back to their countries. So there must be a clear path to making it safely home before Royal Caribbean and all cruise lines with crew on board, before making them travel ready, sign off ready to go home. And that's leadership, that's commitment. In the earlier video, you will see that we have spoken of 2 ships that Royal Caribbean have agreed to use to transport their crew home, and arrangements that they are making with the port authorities in those nations to dock the vessel and to tender the crew onto land. But there is a safety issue that they will need to confirm before they sign these crew members off the ship. Now, this entire process has really humbled me because many times as you look from the outside, it's easy to make assertions, judgment. Talk is cheap, and so we can talk, but the intricacies that come with the burden of leadership, because we are not bearing those, we are not aware of the balancing act, the what goes into making these decisions happen, not making a decision that you will live to regret. And so as I reflect on the leadership of both our island nation and that of our cruise partners, I've learned a valuable lesson. Looks at every factor, not in isolation, but in combination. And at the end of the decision-making process, with all the facts presented and all the hypotheses on the table, the greatest decision or the best decision for the greater good of all those involved must be the one that is taken. And so I will forever be indebted to you, Mr. Prime Minister, for teaching me, a business owner, business operator, future leader of the land of Jamaica and who knows, the globe, that the burden of leadership, when resting on one's shoulder, must not be taken lightly, but must be executed with great thought and consultation, and knowing at the end of it that given all the facts that were present, the best decision was made. Eternally grateful. Strong message. I am forever in your debt, sir.